Hey everybody, I'm Emily Price, the Executive Director of Healthy Birthday Inc., the 501c3 nonprofit that created the Count the Kicks public health campaign. And I'm really excited today because we have a pretty recent Baby Save mom, Olivia Gall, who is joining us today because we know that this year more than ever before, we're witnessing what can happen when expectant parents know about the importance of Count the Kicks. It can be the difference in their birth outcome, especially during COVID-19, this global pandemic that we're all enduring. And we know that when expectant moms have experienced changes to their prenatal appointment schedules and are seeing their provider less often. So today I am thrilled to have Olivia join us. And she talked to us earlier this year to share her son Gus's birth story with us about how he arrived safely because she was counting kicks. So Olivia, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, of course. I'm excited to talk with you.
Well, we're excited to talk with you too. Would you mind sharing more about you and your family with us?
Yeah, so my name's Olivia, and right now I'm working part-time in public relations. And I'm married to my husband, Eli, who's working as a mechanical engineer. And we have our son, Gus, who is 10 months old, and he's crazy, and we love him so much.
I love it. I love it. He's a beautiful boy. We appreciate it when you sent pictures to us earlier this year. Do you mind telling us more about how you even learned about Count the Kicks to begin with?
Yeah, so at my doctor's appointments, even from the beginning when I started going, I went to the Iowa Clinic in West Des Moines and they gave me some literature just at the beginning. And then, especially when I hit the third trimester, is when they again gave me more literature about it to make sure that I continue to know the importance, especially starting in the third trimester when you should start really paying attention to those kicks. And so they were really the ones who told me a lot about it.
We're so glad to hear that you learned from your provider that this was something that was important to do in the third trimester. Would you mind sharing a little bit more about how you use the app and what happened during using the app that sort of triggered you to speak up and talk to your provider?
Yeah, so on the app, I could use it to track when Gus would do 10 kicks. And I knew he had a certain time in the afternoon, and then he had a certain time in the evening where I always knew he would get the 10 kicks. And so on the app, I would be able to open it up and you press each time you felt a kick, and it would count the amount of time it took. And then I also would track it for you so you knew how long it took each day. So you kind of established a pattern, and you can even set reminders to, like, it'll tell you when you should be expecting your usual kicks. And so I used it and I knew those certain times. So then when there was a day where he didn't get those 10 kicks at any of his normal times, then that's when I knew something was up. So like I tried the normal things of eating candy and like drinking juice and kind of like poking. And when that wasn't even working, then I knew that I needed to call my doctor.
And what happened from there?
Yeah, so then I called my doctor, and then they told me that I should go to labor and delivery right then. So I went to labor and delivery at Mercy downtown, and they hooked me up so they could monitor my heart rate and Gus's heart rate. And then, so that was like the non-stress test of the biophysical profile. And then Gus's heart rate was really steady, but that's not a good thing because you want it to be fluctuating to show that they have movement. So then after they'd monitored that for a while, they decided that I needed to do the 30-minute ultrasound. And so during that, they checked for like body movements, muscle tone, breathing movements, amniotic fluid, and his heartbeat again. And then they give it a score. They score each thing with a 2 for being normal or 0 for being abnormal. And the only thing that Gus had that was normal was he had enough amniotic fluid. So he scored a 2 out of 10. So then they told me before that, they were like trying to tell me that they're like, oh, we're going to try to get you out of here by dinner. But then after they did that ultrasound, then they're like, well, you're going to be leaving the hospital with the baby. So they're like, you're going to be delivering him today. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then they were like, we're going to call your doctor and he's going to come here and decide if we need to induce you or if we're going to do a C-section. And so they had me hooked up to all the monitors. And then they came in like 5 minutes later and they're like, we have to go right now. We can't wait for your doctor. We're going to do an emergency C-section right now, put you completely under. And then my husband said he couldn't come in since I was completely under, but he said he heard Gus start crying within 5 minutes of me entering the room. And then the doctor was like, he could have had 2 more minutes, 2 more hours, 2 days. We don't know. We didn't, but we needed to get him out. Better safe than sorry.
And when the doctor says those words to you, what goes through your mind?
I was just so thankful that I trusted my instincts because, sometimes you second guess yourself, like, am I overreacting? And it's like, really, when it comes to your baby's life, you're not overreacting. There's no such thing as being too cautious. It's like, I was like, your baby best, and you're the only one who really knows them at that point. So you just have to trust yourself. And if you feel something's wrong, you have to take care of it. So I was just really glad that I trusted my instincts.
Absolutely. We know that our app users are telling us that their prenatal appointments, they're having fewer appointments. There's more time in between them. There's less face time with their provider. What would you tell expectant moms who are in their third trimester right now about using the Count the Kicks app, about listening to their gut if something feels off, especially at this critical time when patients aren't seeing their providers as often?
Yes, I would say right now it's more important than ever that you're really counting those kicks because you're not going to the doctor as often, so you can't really talk things through with them. So you really have to be trusting your instincts and making sure that you're counting those kicks. Because I think it's more important probably now than ever because you're the only one who can really do that at this point.
What kind of a role do you think Count the Kicks or the app played in Gus's birth outcome?
I think it played a huge role. I think if I didn't know about this program, I don't know what I would have done because I maybe would have just thought he was having like an off day or an off week because like some people were telling me that once you get to the third trimester that the babies move less. So they're like he's so big that he's not really able to move around. So then I was like, I don't know, because he's just so regular. He's been so regular until this one day. Um, so I just had to trust myself and contact the doctor.
We're so glad you did, and we're so glad that your providers took the proper steps and got him here safely. What a wonderful story. We were so thrilled when you reached out to us earlier this year, and we're so thrilled that he's now a 10-month-old who's healthy and thriving, and you're all doing great. It's the best news ever to hear from you and to see his face and to know that you guys are doing well. So
Yeah.
thank you for, taking the time to reach out and for sharing your story today with us as well. We know that this is a time of uncertainty for so many. And so we know that when we come together like this and in many other ways by simply handing a brochure to an expectant parent or telling a mom about the app, that we're all coming together to bring a little bit more certainty to expectant parents right now, and that extraordinary things can happen. And so Gus is living the power of kick counting. And tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, and that's part of why we're here today. It's a global day of generosity when the world comes together to make an impact on the communities that matter to them. And so this year, we hope you will join us in support of Count the Kicks so that we have more stories like Olivia and Gus's, and we have more babies here healthy, that they're having healthy birthdays and getting here safely. Whether you make a donation tomorrow, whether you share one of our posts or tell an expectant parent about our free kick counting app, you can be a part of the solution during this crisis, during this global pandemic. And your support can help us erase the divide between expectant parents who know about Count the Kicks, like Olivia, and the expectant parents out there who still don't know about the importance of kick counting. At Count the Kicks, we get far too many phone calls or emails or messages on Facebook that say, I wish I had known about you. And so we need to erase that divide. We need more Olivia and Gus's and less moms emailing us saying, fewer moms emailing us saying that they wish they had known. We want to see that. We want that to stop happening in this country because every parent deserves to know about the importance of kick counting. And so with your help on Giving Tuesday, we can reach more expectant parents. We can have more Olivia and Gus stories. So let's work to make kick counting commonplace in the US. We deeply appreciate your help. to make this happen tomorrow on Giving Tuesday. You can simply, we have a fundraiser going on Facebook. You can simply donate there, and 100% of the proceeds come back to Healthy Birthday and Count the Kicks. And Olivia, just thank you again so much for sharing your story. And we hope you have a wonderful holiday season with your boy.
Thank you.
Thank you.